Hello, it's Cliff here. Just a short, quick setup guide for the Hallmark Impact Tolerant Touch Probe, going into everything very briefly to get you started if you're in a hurry. Please, when you have a chance, have a careful look at the operator's manual, video manual, part 1 and 2. If you slide the cursor, the progress cursor, or progress slider at the bottom, carefully, you'll see there's different chapters in the main manuals, part 1 and 2, and each new chapter has a title page, so that'll help you to navigate to where you want to go. Just slide slowly until you see the title appear on the screen, and then you can watch that particular chapter. Alright, okay, the first thing we're going to do after we've unpacked the probe is to remove the 3 little countersink cap screws on the end and carefully slip the stylus assembly and end cap out of the probe. We've removed the end cap and stylus assembly from out of the probe body, and we've put it in the vise here with some cardboard, and we've just nipped it up very lightly so we don't crush or damage the end cap. Now, if you remove the stylus assembly, you can see the 6 balls. It's essential that these are spotlessly clean, that there's no dirt or fluff. Make sure you've got clean clothing on, you're not dropping any grit or dirt in there. If they're not clean, or if you think there's a spot of dirt in there, look at the operator's manual part 1 as to how to wash it out with some kerosene, brush it out with a clean brush and clean kerosene, and blow it off with compressed air until it is clean. So let's assume now that it is clean, and we're going to put some of the ITTP fluid in there. Now this is a special blend of fluid or gel. Please don't try and use anything else. I spent many weeks, months even, trialing different fluids, and this one is vastly superior. So we remove the assembly, just being really careful here not to get it dirty. We're going to put a little bit in there in those little pockets surrounding the balls. We want it in just below the level of the balls, like that. And just make sure you coat the arm as well. So the whole little reservoir there around the balls is full of fluid, but not to the point where it's overflowing everywhere. You know, a little bit overflow is not a problem because it'll just migrate out. Just look really closely at it. If you see any little specks of dirt in there, then take the chance to clean it, because they could migrate in between the contacts and give problems long term. Now, where the spring bears, just put a little dab of ordinary stiff or thick grease. I'm not sure how important this is, but I've been doing it all the way through, so it's probably best to keep to it. Don't use a molybdenum filled grease or a metal filled grease. Just a pure grease, a stiff grease for where the spring contacts the stylus hub. Okay, so we've applied the fluid. You might put that aside in the little block you've made to store your probe in. Now we'll put the body in the vise. Check the little springs in there. Check there's no dirt inside it. And that it's all spotlessly clean, and that all the little spring-loaded contacts, the pogos, are all perfectly clean, and there's no insulation and they're not sticking, and that's all fine. Now we'll just hold this and pop the end cap on. Align the screws and bring it down somewhere close. Pop in a screw. How well are you seeing me there? Pop in a screw. Just dropped it on the floor. My excuse is I'm working around the camera. Line up on the threads. And pop one screw in. Now here's a little point to note. Pop all the screws in within a millimetre or so of closed, but not quite closed. Alright, so you're popping all the screws in. A bit short of closed, so that the spring can move the end cap up and down like that. Now what we're doing there is we're moving the whole thing up and down to allow the little pogos to contact on the balls and get a nice clean connection going. Give it a little rattle, rotary rattle, while the screws are loose, just to get everything fully home. And then you can tighten up the 3 countersunk screws. Now they only need to be nipped up medium tight, they don't need to be massively tight. From now on, keep your probe in its upright, in use position in a block such as this. For details on that, see the section at the beginning of the operator's manual part 1. Plug your probe in to the accessory socket and go to either the probe page or the status page, and just check that the probe is operating correctly. If you go to the accessory input and then push the probe in each direction, you'll see the little LED light going on and off there. That's just checking that it's functioning okay. Okay, the next step is to set the stylus tip central with the spindle. So we just rotate the spindle with a light finger dial indicator in contact with the ball on the end, and adjust its central via these adjusting screws. Just tweak it until it's central, perfectly central, like so. Setting the probe tip central is detailed in my operator's manual, video manual. This is just a quick overview. Okay, so now go to your software, and on the offsets page, on tool number 99 is the probe. Set the effective diameter here at 3.93 is the normal effective diameter in metric, or 0.1547 thou. And when that's done, go to the probe page, and here probe ETS setup. So you're interested in the probe setup. Follow the instructions here as to set up the Z height of the probe, and it will automatically load the Z or Z height into the tool table. There's detailed videos on this on the Toolmak website, and also details in the video operator's manual, part 1 I think it is. So set the Z height, and then you're ready to roll. Okay, let's do a little probing routine to check that it's all well. We'll put a little block in the vise, and we've dropped the probe down over that edge there. Let's look on the software. We've set tool number 99 in place, and we've set a feed rate of a maximum of 1400 millimeters a minute, or 55 inches. If you go any faster than that, it will default back to a very slow rate, and you'll probably need to stop it and reset it. So maximum of 1400 millimeters a minute and 55 inches. Okay, so we're just going to use this probing routine, fine center set work origin. So that does a series of probes right around the block, and it's quite a useful probing routine for testing your probe, and it will set the work origin of the middle for the middle of the block. Okay, so we just dropped the stylus stem down there, contact on that button on control software, and just checking that it's working in every direction. It quickly finds the size of the part, then rapids and does more accurate probings to find the exact middle, and sets the DROs to central. And all is well, and you're ready to go. Alright, that about wraps up the quick setup guide. Thanks guys.